Lesson 3-1, Example 1. Our objective is to learn to write, compare, and order decimals using place value and number lines. So let's talk about place value for a moment. Here we have a number, and we've shown it breaking down into the different place values. And place value just helps us determine how large or how small a number is. It's the way we write different things, a shorthand to show us how large or small a number is. And it's based upon our wholes here, our ones. And every time we go up to 10, we move over to another place value as we go up. Now we can also use that same terminology as we go down. So we can think of it this way, that as we go to the left, we're getting larger, and as we go to the right, we're getting smaller. Here is our decimal point. We always say "and" when we're reading a decimal point. And the decimal point doesn't have any place value. It's not a place value in of itself. It's just a way that we show where we go from wholes to pieces of a whole. And that's all the decimals are pieces of a whole. So here we have a whole. Here we have our wholes, sometimes referred to as the ones place. Tenths means that we have a whole that's been broken up into 10 pieces. And this is how many of those 10 pieces we have. Hundredths, we're breaking a whole into hundreds of pieces. Thousands of breaking a whole into 1,000 pieces. Breaking a whole into 10,000 pieces. Breaking a whole into 100,000 pieces. And this is how many of those very, very, very tiny pieces we have. And that's what decimals are telling us, that how many pieces of a whole that we have. So if we were going to read this number, we would say 23 and 503 hundred thousandths. Whatever our last place value is, that's where we're going to say that value there. So we would just say this number like normal, and then whatever that last place value is, we'll put on that place value. So 503 hundred thousandths. Well, let's see what that looks like with another problem. So there's three different ways that we can write numbers. We have standard form, which is like this, just the number as we're used to seeing it. We have expanded form, and we can also write that number in words. How we say the number, how we say the standard and the words is exactly the same. So if I'm going to say this number right here, this is 1, decimal place is and, 7 hundredths, because we have our tenths place, our hundredths place, so we have 1 and 7 hundredths. And if I can say it out loud, I can write it with words. 1 and 7 hundredths. So 100 with a th at the end, hundredths. 1 and 7 hundredths, 1 and 7 hundredths. Now expanded form, I would write it like this. 1 plus, so I have a 1 here, plus, we'll have nothing in the tenths place. I can actually leave that. I could put a 0 there, or I could leave it out. So I'm going to leave it out and then focus on the hundredths place, which looks like this. So I have 1 plus 7 hundredths. And if I put that together, right, I would write it like this, 1 and 7 hundredths. So this is expanded form, standard form. Let's take a look at another one. Here we have this number in expanded form. We have 3 hundredths, 6 thousandths, and 9 ten-thousandths. So let's put those together here. So we have 0 in our wholes. We have 0 wholes. We have 0 tenths. We have 3 hundredths. We have 6 thousandths. And we have 9 ten-thousandths. So that's how this is how we would write this in standard form. Now in words, if I can read this, I can write it in words. Well, I have 369. My last place value is 10 thousandths. So I'd say 369 ten thousandths. So actually I have 0, decimal place, and 300 69 10,000ths. Zero and 369 10,000ths. That's how I would write that in words. Let's take a look at one more example. Here we're given our number in words. And again, if we can read it, we can also, it's going to be the same way we'd write it in standard form. We just use a little bit different symbols. So 14 and 800ths. 14, I know how to write 14, and that's that decimal place. 800ths. Well, that means 800ths. I'm not hearing anything about tenths place. So 800ths. 14 and 800ths. That's how much is there. So expanded form. Well, I'm going to show each place value. So what's in this place value, in this one, in this one, in this one. Well, in this place value, that's my tens place value, and I have one of those. So I have a 10 plus, I have 4 wholes, plus, well, I have nothing in the tenths place. Again, I could write it with a 0. I could write it like that with 0 tenths. And then how many? I have 800ths. So that's one way I could write it. Or I could write it like this. Since I have 0 in the tenths place, I can just leave that out. That's a choice.